Go ahead.
My name is Rachel, and I'm with the Order of Omega.
Hello, I'm Jamie. I work in the Greek life office, and I'm doing all of the scholarship presentations.
And I'm James Eller from ESS, and I work in the scholarship pillar.
Perfect.
Great. All right, well, to get started, we're from Sigma Nu. My name is Vinny Rao. I'm a senior. I'm the previous scholarship chair for Sigma Nu, and we're here to present about scholarship.
And I'm Drew Glacius. I'm a junior, and I'm on the scholarship committee.
All right. So as I mentioned, we're here to present on the scholarship pillar for Pinnacup. And that's us. And we're here to present today on excellence in scholarship. Basically, we really feel that we've grown a lot in a lot of different aspects as a chapter over the past year since we've last done a Pinnacup presentation. And that is including scholarship. So we feel like we made a lot of great leaps and bounds in scholarship. And this whole presentation will be a little bit about why we feel that we deserve this recognition for excellence in scholarship. Part of what excellence is reshaping the scholarship to kind of suit the needs of the fraternity and kind of help develop the members into, at least for our aspect, into better fraternity men as related to scholarship. And so we feel we have exemplified this well, so we'll go into a little bit more of why we feel that way.
Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about the appreciation of learning. And we feel like we have definitely created a solid culture of care in our chapter. And this is evident through several things that we do, one of which is weekly chapter roundtables. This is often facilitated by our chaplain, which is our brotherhood chair. And essentially what that consists of is an open dialogue that's moderated by the chaplain with whoever wants to come. It usually lasts an hour, and we talk about anything really, important, political, controversial topics, anything we feel is important enough, and we want to get feedback and hear from what the brothers think. And it's also open to candidates. Our new members, we don't call them pledges, we call them candidates. We have discussions about maintaining scholarship through Greek Week. This year, I believe it's on March 1st, we're going to meet with all of our candidates on Sunday night, and we're going to go through and help them plan out a schedule through Greek Week. We realize that for some it's hard to manage your time with something big like Greek Week, and we really want to make sure that the new guys have a solid plan and don't feel overwhelmed going into Greek Week. We also have an email list called SN Study. Over 2/3 of the chapter uses this, and that's something that someone can send an email out and say, hey, I'm going to the library, does anybody want to join me? Or, hey, I'm looking for someone to study with tonight, is anybody available? Outside the chapter, we have orientation leaders, and we have 17. You were in OL, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, we have TAs and SIs. A couple of newer members are Engineering 145 TAs and SIs. They're constantly facilitating learning, and they're constantly helping people because a lot of our new members are also in those classes, so they're able to help them out. And then we also have members on the Wiki Student Selection Committee, which is the award that's given for excellence in teaching. I know I'm a member of it.
I was a previous member of it last year. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how our chapter helps foster academic achievement. We have a lot of information on this, and I'm really proud of this aspect of our presentation, especially just because of how much we've done in the past year related to fostering academic achievement. As I mentioned, the last meeting, scholarship meetings are one of the biggest things we do and one of the most helpful things in terms of assessing the needs of scholarship within our fraternity. Meeting with each member individually has helped us kind of gain some feedback on strengths, weaknesses for each member, resources that may be needed for our members, feedback that they can give us on how scholarship is pertaining to them, as well as where they see the chapter's GPA going, as well as their individual GPA. So from this, we've gotten a good idea of how to kind of change scholarship to meet the needs of the fraternity. Recently, this semester, we also added SMART goals. So to make it a little more pertinent, tangible, make these goals more attainable, and make members more motivated to keep these goals that they set for themselves. And one of the biggest things I've heard from members is, and something that's definitely changed since when I first entered the fraternity, is chapter members are more seeing scholarship as something that everyone should participate in, not just people who happen to be doing badly and need to like work on their grades, or people who are already doing well and can help others, but kind of everyone on those extremes and in between working together to kind of promote the scholarship. Over the summer, our chapter received the 2014 Rock Chapter Award. It's the highest honor a Sigma Nu fraternity chapter can receive. This is through our nationals. So one of those pillars for, it's actually very similar to Pinda Cup. One of those pillars is scholarship, and they kind of sent us some feedback on it and said we went above and beyond scholarship, and they really noticed a trend, especially in the rise in our GPA, which I'll go into a little bit more later, as well as all the different programming we've had available to our members through this. Our faculty advisor is Judy Olsenhammer, the director of ESS. So having her has been really great for our chapter. She gets along really well with us. We really like her as our faculty advisor. But more than just that relationship between the fraternity and her, she helps us out a lot in terms of dealing with members who are on academic probation, meeting with her, kind of discussing what can be done in instances like that to help their academics. I initiated her coming into the chapter once, if not twice, a semester and doing academic workshops. So she actually recently came in just last week, specifically for our new members, to talk to them about what to do as midterms are rolling around, and how, since as spring semester is always a little bit weird compared to fall semester scheduling wise, and how you can maintain your academics, maintain your scholarship for our new members, and I think they really appreciated that. In terms of a scholarship banquet, we really enjoy having these to commemorate the members who are doing well academically. We had a really successful one last semester. We worked with Phi Mu and Pi Beta Phi as well, and did a joint scholarship banquet. Our members enjoyed it so much that we actually got funding to do it again in the spring. So normally we only do it in the fall, but we're actually going to start doing it both semesters now because we think it's important to recognize members who are doing well academically. Kind of going along with that, we actually presented scholarship keys at the scholarship banquet. So what they are I don't actually have mine with me right now, but they're kind of like a little key that hangs down from our badge. And you get a silver one if you get above a 3.5 GPA, and you get a gold one if you get above a 3.75 GPA. It's just a nice way to commemorate academic achievement. Cafe Sigma Nu, kind of, it's a rush event that we do, a recruitment event I should say. And basically we started putting scholarship, it's basically a presentation for the recruitment or any of our PNMs. And so what we do is we recently started incorporating scholarship into this presentation and kind of showing that our chapter values scholarship early on and getting that idea out there to our potential new members before they actually enter the fraternity, and letting them know all the resources they have available to them and what we expect of them as fraternity members in our chapter. Last but not least, we are also in the plans of restructuring spaces in the house to be more conducive to studying and getting work done in the house. So right now we're looking into maybe restructuring our basement. So maybe by day and like in the weekday nights we can have study spaces and have studying going on, and then maybe restructure it so like couches can be put back in for movie nights or whatnot on the weekends and things like that.
Okay, so recently we've created a lot of new things that give our members better access to academic resources. So the first thing I want to talk about is a bi-weekly scholarship digest, and by bi-weekly we mean once every 2 weeks. So once every 2 weeks we send out an email that has a bunch of intellectual development seminar opportunities, as well as important upcoming dates and reminders of resources on campus, such as numbers for ESS and UCS, and a couple other ones too. But we find that it's helpful because all too often it seems like signing up for classes really sneaks up on someone, or drop ad sneaks up on someone. And we found that, or we think that an email is a good way to keep people up to date and aware that these dates are upcoming. We've compiled a scholarship resources guide, which is sort of along the lines of what I talked about, but more in depth with numbers, emails. I know we have ESS, UCS, and quite a few other resources listed. We have an intellectual development submission form on our website, which is super easy to use so that members don't have to go out of their way to tell us that they've been to an intellectual development seminar. It makes things for PIDICUP really easy. And then something else we're working on is course evaluations internally. And so the way this works is you submit a quick form when you're submitting your course evals for the end of the semester. Ideally, it would take no more than 5 minutes, no more than the couple questions asked on the course evals. And if it's anonymous, it's anonymous. But if you put your name on there, then come time to sign up for classes, you can actually talk to someone who's been in that class. Or if you're looking to take something that you might not normally take, you can talk to someone who has feedback on that class in person. And so hopefully that makes people better able to explore their interests and feel more comfortable with the classes they're taking. And then we can show you our website and show you how you get to all this stuff.
Yep. Or, well, I actually can't move the mouse around on this. So.
It's moving up there. Do you want to look up there?
Oh.
Yeah, there you go.
Oops.
So this is our redesign.
This is our main page.
Redesign website.
And then,
Yeah, you just go to Actives, Delta Alpha Portal.
and then
This has all of our Delta Alpha Sigma Nu resources, and you can scroll down and you'll find the intellectual development seminar submission form. Super easy to use, very intuitive, and it makes things way easier for submitting stuff like intellectual development that's a PIDICUP requirement.
Yep. Cool. So, as I mentioned, our increasing chapter GPA, our recorder actually put together a little graph of our GPA over the past several years, actually, past more than 20 years now, or close to 20 years. And just kind of like a tracking of our GPA related to the all men's average as well. And as you can see, our GPA is actually the highest it's been since 2006, which is definitely an achievement for our chapter. And just from 2013 alone, it's jumped up from a 3.28 to close to or just above a 3.4. So we definitely improved, and we hope chapter members are actually very motivated by this. And I've heard a lot of comments like, I hope this keeps sustaining itself. I hope we can keep improving this way. So it's been very encouraging in that sense. And then intellectual development. We have a lot of stuff that we're hopefully going to introduce this semester. Just this semester, we reapproved a new scholarship plan that has an intellectual development session requirement, requiring each member to attend at least one. What we did last semester was we tested this out and kind of encouraged members to attend intellectual development seminars. We actually had a good turnout. It was about approximately 60% of the chapter attended at least one. Several more members attended many more than that. So now this was actually approved unanimously. There was no argument against this from the chapter, which is encouraging, showing that members are appreciating the value of intellectual development. So I'm glad that we have this new requirement now. In chapter intellectual development seminars, I'm working with the lead chairman this semester especially to kind of bring intellectual development seminars to our house to make it easier for members to access and make them more pertinent topics that we're interested in. We have a speaker from the Women's Center. She wasn't able to come this past week due to the weather, I believe, but she is planning to come in and speak to our chapter about basically, do you remember what the topic was going to be about?
It's going to be about gender. It's Dr. Shannon Lundy,
Oh, yeah,
new
that's right.
director.
Yep. So she's going to come in and talk about that, and we are hopefully going to plan some more development seminars, kind of geared towards many different topics and topics that we think our members would be interested in, but that are also outside our academics and outside our majors, as well as an all-campus lead session. So Justin Beckman is our lead chairman. He and I are working together, along with our risk reduction chair, to set up an all-campus lead session that hopefully we can host as Sigma Nu, but invite all of the Greek community and as well as the rest of the campus community to come out to. And we recently formed different committees within the chapter that all members are required to be a part of. This was actually one of the goals set by the community committee to have a lead session that we can expand to the whole campus.
Can you explain what a lead session is?
Sure. Yeah. Sorry about that. I was gonna go into LEAD a little bit later, but LEAD is our member development program. Basically, what it is starting from when you first enter the fraternity all the way up until when you graduate. We have 4 LEAD phases. So the first phase just kind of incorporates an introduction to the chapter, getting to know the chapter and our values. The second one is more personal and leadership development, so kind of developing yourself more as a leader. The third session is taking that leadership that you've gained through LP2 and expanding it to the community, expanding it to the rest of the chapter, and kind of incorporating some more professional development as well with that. Lead phase 4 is definitely more professional development and expanding all the stuff that you've learned through the first 2 lead phases into a career-oriented atmosphere and professional atmosphere. And then all chapter lead is just kind of sessions at random that we think are beneficial for the whole chapter. We've done things on how to fix up a car, how to drive stick shift, how to dress professionally, things of that nature.
So is that what you'd be looking for the all campus?
Mm-hmm. So for lead, at least in this sense, we would be looking into something, looking into bringing a speaker. One of the speakers we're looking at, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but he's a professor of emotional intelligence, I believe on this campus, and we thought that was pretty interesting. We thought he might have a lot to offer for the session. Hopefully it works out, but just kind of like some intellectual development seminar that we can kind of host as Sigma Nu for the rest of the campus. As we mentioned before, we do weekly chapter roundtables and dialogue, which I think fits in perfectly with intellectual development as well. Discussing things that aren't required of us to discuss, but because we're motivated to discuss them. We also do participate in outside chapter activities, obviously going along with the intellectual development session requirement, like Faculty Fridays, different Inamori Center events, and Safe Zone training. We are also trying to plan a Safe Zone training in our house that we're going to invite the rest of the Greek community to participate in with us. That again will be done through our lead chairman. And then attending different brothers events, I think definitely our chapter is very focused on diversity and inclusion now, especially as the university's taking that up more too. So I think attending like different brothers events, like Footlighters events, Indian Student Association events, different music performances, and just gaining a better like cultural and diverse background, I think also can apply in this situation too. All right, and then when it comes to academic community involvement and engagement, our chapter is very involved through academic honor societies. So we have members involved in Phi Delta Epsilon, medical fraternity, the chemical society fraternity. Drew, you said you're involved with
Pi Mu Epsilon.
Pi Mu Epsilon, that's right.
Society.
Yeah, Order of Omega, Gamma Alpha, or what was it? Gamma Sigma.
Gamma Sigma Alpha.
Gamma Sigma Alpha. We have others involved with that.